let's see here. Let's see if this will work this time. Okay. So the purpose of this is to show that the collection code selection can add sort of an auto prefix on primary ID. And this will just save people having to type that collection code every time. It's a very simple user requirement, which is I only ever work in one collection. I only ever use one collection code. Why do I have to type it every time? So initially the screen would look like this, but almost no one's ever going to see this. You're going to go ahead and pick a collection code, or there will only be one collection and it will be picked for you, and bam, there you go. Now I want this to be represented in blue so that it can stay clear to the user that there is a connection between this collection code and these characters, which are the same. I don't want it saved. I think this is just going to be for the initial creation of the material sample. After it's saved, none of this blue stuff, auto prefix, it's just not going to work. I don't think. You let me know. If I go ahead and type the number there, you can see it's keeping that representation intact. I can change that representation by picking a different collection code. And because I didn't break the representation, it just knows to replace it. Now, here is pretty much what everybody's going to encounter. That's what they're going to do. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If I break this character set, i.e. if I break the collection code, it is no longer going to be this new auto prefix thing in blue. So I'm going to go and put the cursor right there in the middle. Still intact, still blue. Once I hit the delete key to delete one character or change one character, I've broken that representation. So the link between the collection code and the primary ID is now just broken. It's just text. Now, it still belongs to this collection code. It's still in the dipter collection. And I can go ahead and delete the rest of that. Now it's just dip, but it's still in the dipter collection. So what the primary ID has no influence over the collection code, right? Which collection it's actually in. If I were to now change the collection code because I've broken that representation, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's add another prefix. And now you can see this represents CNC dip 1234, but it's not in the dipter collection. It's in the CNC main collection. Is this bad science? Absolutely, but we can't prevent bad science. So we're just giving them the ability to add this sort of auto prefix. If they break it, if they break the representation of that prefix, we can't prevent them from messing with it to the point where visually this looks like it's in the dipter collection, but it's actually not. And unfortunately, we can't prevent that bad science. So hopefully they don't do this. But I just want it to be clear that the collection code only influences these little prefixes until they're edited. And I don't believe it should work when you go back and edit the material sample later. I think this should only apply to new material samples. So again, most people will see this screen every time they create a material sample. They'll add their little number to it, or someday there'll be a little generator here. They'll get a little number, or if it's a batch, they'll get multiple numbers, and they'll move on with their lives. They won't on the fly switch it to a different collection. They won't do it after the fact. They certainly won't go and break this, but we have to allow for it. So if they break that representation, I just say, fine, get rid of it. And then if they are silly enough to do another one, to change the collection, we put that in. If they're not smart enough to now delete that dip, well, sorry guys, maybe you shouldn't be a scientist. All right, I'm done here. Thanks.